Get Warrior Tough, Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman on 105.5 The Roar. Back to Andrew Wittman.
All right, last segment. I can't believe how fast these hours go by. Dutch, it is just so awesome being partnered with you, man. It's a huge honor. First off, I was telling one of our mutual friends that that I was just kind of like, the reason I didn't think of it before is because I didn't think that you would stoop so low as to partner with me. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're such a huge talent. I thought, he's not going to ever want to. I mean, come on, and it just kind of worked out. So,
No. It's an honor for me. If the people don't already know some of your accomplishments, I'm sure we'll get into it throughout the time we spend together. But I marvel at some of the things that you've done in your life and that you currently are doing in your life. So the feeling was mutual. So I definitely look at this as an honor. Myself working with you and knowing that what your goals are as far as helping people in life and be better at life in all aspects of their life. So the honor, I feel like honor is all mine.
Wow, you're so sweet. But now we talked about backgrounds a little bit. That does kind of remind me. I want to know a little bit more about your background, man. Could you just kind of tell me your story real quick?
I guess to take it from the beginning, I was one of 5 children. I grew up for the most part, in inner city Washington, D.C. Parents divorced when I was 8, which is not dissimilar to a lot of people's stories. Mom was a drug addict, and pretty much I always tell people when I'm telling my story that my mom was a gangster. She was. I come home from school, and she's in the street fighting people. She was akin to a gang leader when I was growing up, and I kind of knew it. And I kind of knew some of the things that she did was her life. But she was a great mom, very loving. She's a huge part of who I am today. Very charismatic woman. She could have been leading. I always tell people she could have been leading a Fortune 500 company.
Right.
The opportunity was there because the things that she had people do for her was because of her great leadership skills. I mean, she can make anyone follow her to anywhere and put anything and everything on the line for her. So I said, that's a gift. And I feel like I was blessed with that magnetism that she had, that smile that she had, that the love for people. She gave the shirt off her back. We routinely be homeless, living in shelters and doing things like that. But we would never let anyone else be homeless if we had something. So we had a bunch of people living in the small apartments that we had. But whenever we were in trouble a lot of the times, with the exception of a grandmother and an aunt that helped us a couple different times, we didn't get that same return. So she never let that poison her love for people and her giving heart. And so just doing that, my father came and got us out of that when I became a teenager. And that's when I learned about life and learned about college and learned about the possibilities of the world and all that stuff. And my whole entire world changed. Ended up at Clemson. I got my engineering degree. I always said I was a member of the football team. That didn't work out as I wish it would have, but I always had implanted in my mind by my dad that academics was going to be my way, not athletics. And I think he almost fought the whole athletic piece in a way because he wanted me to go beyond that. And he knew that the chances of that were slim to none. And so he, preemptively struck against that mentality, which I'm grateful for. But I still had a really good taste of it. And I've always had a love for people because of where I came from, the strife that I had in my life that wasn't of my own doing. I know that there are people out there that are struggling and that need help. And I've always tried to reach my hand across and pull anyone up to the level where I am and beyond, even beyond where I am. So that's a very quick snapshot of who I am. And basically people, I'm a man of God. All of this has been influenced by my faith and my belief in Jesus Christ. And that has done nothing but propel me to the next level in all the things that I felt. So I felt it was in my spirit from day one before I even knew the path from a formal standpoint. It was already in my spirit, and it was just brought out when I got to know and I got that faith connection. So quick snapshot.
That's awesome, man. Now you said your dad was a Marine, right?
Yes, or is a Marine. You guys.
I know,
you guys
right?
Get angry when you say was. Yeah.
Yeah, Well, he's not on active duty right now, right? He could be recalled at any moment, though.
There you go.
At any moment. All right. So, man, thank you for sharing with me, man, and the audience. It's awesome. And now you're on LinkedIn. Go find Dutch on LinkedIn. Connect with him. You could see, a more detailed version of his background and his education and all that. And it's just really good to be connected with you.
Well, I feel the same way, man. I like I said, when we first met, I marveled at the things that you had done in your life, and 99% of the world hadn't seen what you've seen. And so I think you offering your experiences and your knowledge to people walking around every day is invaluable.
Well, thanks, buddy. I do appreciate that, and we have fun. We love helping people. I mean, we really. I mean, I can't believe we get paid for doing what we do. To be honest with you, because it's really cool. I feel like I always say I'm like the grandma at Thanksgiving when everybody, after we do some good coaching and some good teaching and some good mentoring, and people are like, wow, that really changed me. I feel like grandma at Thanksgiving. We cooked a good meal and everybody enjoyed it. That's the feeling I get, and it's like, wow, this is so good,
Oh, yeah.
All right, so now we have to, I know last week we talked about, yay, my Patriots and all that. Now the headsets. We got to talk about the headsets. I don't want to, but we got to, so. I've waited till the end so we couldn't go too long on the headsets.
Well, just think it's almost college basketball season, so we'll be talking about the Duke clock operator soon. So.
The clock operator, I know, right?
We didn't. That was an accident. We didn't know.
I don't know what happened. What? Yeah, what? Oh man. All right, so I got it. I don't know, man. I told you off the air, man. The way Mike Tomlin was throwing his fit, and I love Mike Tomlin, but man, I'm like, dude, you gotta, and then you guys didn't even file the formal complaint. I mean, I don't know, dude.
Well, they're smart. They're smart enough to know not to waste your time filing a complaint because number one, you're not going to catch them. Number two, I give somebody like Tomlin, I actually give him credit because I know those guys have been frustrated for years because not only have they had knowledge of this stuff going on, but the Patriots been putting a foot in their behind for years, and they can't beat the guys. And the cardinal sin in sports is to complain after losses. Like, you can't complain. Like, you got your butt kicked. You can't complain. But I think years of that, it finally came to a boil, and he just burst. He just came out and he said those things, which, again, in the athletic realm is sort of unacceptable. But I think people are going to give him a pass because people kind of understand, okay, that's your one time because of all this stuff we kind of know, but don't do that again. Don't ever do that again. That goes against the culture of sports.
Right. I couldn't hear you because there was ESPN was being broadcast into my headset, and it was like a Gamecock game. I don't know. I think they were losing to Kentucky right when you were talking, so... Are they the new Vanderbilt of the SEC? Is South Carolina the new Vanderbilt of the SEC? Sorry, what?
If they had the academic profile, maybe.
Yeah, they don't even have the academic profile. Somebody needs to box up a giant foghorn and send it down there for them so they could blow that foghorn, in the stadium.
Man, they're in trouble, man. If women's basketball season doesn't hurry up and get here, they're going to be in trouble. I'm going to tell you, they're not going to have anything to talk about. I mean, they're playing Georgia this week, and they're in danger of going 0-2. And really, anyone who knows the game of football know they should have lost that first game. They could have been sitting there staring at 0-3 right down the pipe. But I just can't see a scenario where they beat Georgia. You lose to Kentucky at home,
dude.
And without that furious comeback, you really got your tail handed to you.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him because I was, drinking the orange Kool-Aid for the first time. I was up there. I'm at the Rock. It's all great. And you got my CCP shirt on, and I'm talking to folks and hugging them and tweeting it out. And then I come home, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, man, the Gamecocks are the new, Commodores.
Wow. The funny part is I was on Roy Philpott's show, and I predicted the Gamecocks to go either 4-8 or 5-7. Oh, and the fans they went so nuts. Upset. And I said, look, it's the quarterback, man. I don't have a problem with their defense. They have multiple playmakers.
Well, the quarterback's out, man. He's hurt, and then we got the walk-on now is in, and I think what the all ball coach, man. I think he let it out that he was going to retire. That kind of screwed up a bunch of stuff with a bunch of people decommitted, and now I don't know that he's having fun anymore, man. I don't know. I mean, he's getting up there.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna twist that knife even worse than that. I think they were very fortunate. That little period they had, they were very fortunate that it was a combination of the great players that were in the state of South Carolina in that moment, and the fact that Clemson had a coaching change right in that same moment. So then you had that group of elite players from the state of South Carolina that they're not always out there. And they were all there at one time, went to South Carolina. Now, that's not happening on a yearly basis in the state of South Carolina. They don't mind North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida very well, and Clemson does. So that allows Clemson to exist even when the state of South Carolina's not at a high-profile level. And so South Carolina's suffering right now, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, and I think it even goes beyond that. I think that their run was Florida was going downhill at the time. Tennessee was in recession, right? I think then the SEC East was like, it was almost should have been in the another conference or something. I don't know, but I think that they benefited from all that.
And still, with all that being said, still miss an opportunity to ever win the SEC. Missouri was winning the East during that time, and that is a shame. I mean,
it's wrong on so many levels. All right, so I got to tell you, man. So what's the way out for this? I mean, how do they rebuild? It's going to be a rough decade, man. It's going to be a rough decade or 15 years. I mean,
I think it's over. I mean, I think see, this is the thing that people don't understand. The period they had that was good, that was the anomaly.
That's it. That's the outlier.
If you look at the 100 years of Carolina football, it's been horrible, except for that 4 or 5 year period.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is they got back to normal. They're not suffering, and they haven't lost anything. They went back to normal. So they were up very high. They were doing their thing. They were an exceptional program for that period, but now they're back to normal.
So they're regressing back to the mean. That's aggression. Oh, I got you. All right.
The sad mean, because you're talking about 100 years of football where you're talking about programs like Duke and Kentucky and some of your traditionally horrible programs have better records than a South Carolina. And so when you start looking at their history, there's not much there, if anything. I'm going to say there's nothing there.
Wow. All right, so I guess, the dream's over. Oh, no, South Carolina, you guys just need to retool, man. You could come back. It'll take you a while, but you got to make the hard decision, I mean, you just got to make some hard decisions. And I know the old ball coach got you to that anomaly, but, man, it's over.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. You can reach me, all the South Carolina fans out there that are listening can reach me at The Dutch Coleman on Twitter.
At The Dutch Coleman. And
because I know they're upset. So
and I know they are. And Roll Tide, I'm an Alabama fan, so I'm glad you guys, I don't know. So should like Clemson and South Carolina switch conferences, man? Should Clemson come on over to the SEC and let South Carolina play in the ACC? I mean,
I don't know.
Or is Clemson's test scores too high to go into the SEC? Is it?
Well, I think whatever benefits financially is going to happen. Whatever the best, because if you think about it, the path in the ACC is a lot simpler. We know that the SEC is a tougher conference, so I don't know if I want to leave simpler if I can still do what I need to do.
I gotcha. And you guys, hey, look, we're having success, and I say we now because I am, drinking the orange, sipping it anyway. We are having success, so just keep let's just keep going where we're going, man. Dutch, the hour's gone, buddy. I had a great time. I love you. I'll see you next week.
No doubt. I'll see you.
All right. Play us out, Jacko.